So may B7. Pa-heart naman B7.
Oh, B7, heart mo daw.
Pa-heart B7. Let me see. Kung may B7 dito, meron ba? There are those students na wala pang section before their name. Kindly put your section before your name. May B7 dito, guys. Wala pang B7. How about A7? Meron? A7, pa-heart naman yung mga A7. Okay, thank you. A7.
Same lang.
Guys, paki-mute yung inyong microphone. Sige, baba na. A7, A5. Pa-thumbs up. Thumbs up. A5.
Po, ma'am.
Hello. A5.
Present po yung A5, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So we also have representatives from A13. May nakikita akong A13 dito. A13. Okay, sige. Heart react. A13. Okay, thank you. How about may A3 ba dito, guys? A3? Do we have representatives from A3? Wala sila. Conflict in schedule. Okay. How about so meron din tayong B9. Let me see.
Present po, B9.
Ayan, B9. Okay, thank you. B9. Sige, note ko lang. How about, do we have A15 here? A15. So meron ako nakita isa, dalawa, tatlo. A15, meron din. Meron bang A11 na nandito? Ayan, meron din. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ayan, marami. A11. So natawag ko na A13, A11. Sino pa ang section na di ko natawag?
B5 po.
B5. So may B5 din. Pa-thumbs up, B5. So that I can see kung ilan. Asan na yung mga B5? Nawala?
Present po kami, ma'am.
Ayan, B5. Thank you. Ano pang section ang hindi ko natawag? A9.
Po, ma'am.
Okay, patingin ng A9. Heart react, A9. Let me see kung ilan ang representatives. Participants, isa. Isa lang. Isa lang ang A9. So may A1 din. A1. Ayan, A1. Isa lang ang A1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, mangilan-ngilan lang din. 6. Meron pa ba? Meron pa akong hindi natawag. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So good morning, everyone. So this is pharmacology in nursing. So tapos na kayo sa 217. Baka mamaya nandun pa kayo, naiwan pa yung inyong mga isip at puso sa 217, sa maternal and child. So dito na tayo sa pharmacology in nursing. Okay? So please bear with us. Me and Dr. Pasis will be joining the morning session today. Also, yung afternoon session, magjo-join din kami because we are using one Zoom account. Okay? So anyway, one of these days, we'll have full F2F as soon as maayos na yung medicine building and also pagkawala ng mga suspension of classes. So we'll get to see each other every week. Okay? So meron pang mga students na hindi nakalagay ang kanilang section before their name. Ma'am, hindi pa nakalagay yung section. Mamaya pag nag-check ng attendance because this is a combined class. Para hindi kami mahirapan mag-check ng attendance. Carnian Florence. Pakilagay yung section. Sino pa dito ang hindi nakalagay ang section? And please keep your microphone muted para po hindi magkaroon ng disruption sa discussion later. Mute yung mic. Mute yung mic. Some of you are having their classes, online classes with their other subjects. So we understand that kasi may conflict. But I hope you listen. Miss Baniga, wala pang section sa iyong pangalan. Pakilagay. Ay, sino yon yung nag-share? Who else? Do I need to mention your name? Pakilagay na yung section ninyo. Ayan. Okay, thank you very much. So let's start the discussion this morning. So what's our topic today? So it's all about pharmacokinetics. Okay. So the pharmacokinetic phase of drug administration. Okay, so here are my learning objectives at the end of the topic. You are expected to understand the concept of pharmacokinetics and discuss the phases and processes of drugs once they are inside your body. Okay. So we have a question here. How does your body process the medicine? So technically, we have the pharmacokinetic phase, no? So ano ang ginagawa ng body natin once the medicine gets inside it, okay? So we have the 3 phases of drug action. Can you see my slide, by the way? Kita ba?
Yes po.
Yes po, ma'am.
Yes po. Okay naman yung audio?
Yes po.
Okay, so we have here the 3 phases of drug action. We have here the pharmaceutic phase, the pharmacokinetic phase, and the pharmacodynamic phase. So yun yung tatlong phases ng drugs natin or ng mga gamot, no? So let's have first the pharmaceutic phase. So pharmaceutic phase is the first phase of drug action. So kapag pumasok na sa GI tract yung ating mga gamot or any drug, no? The drug disintegrates into small particles to dissolve into a liquid in order for it to be absorbed. So kung makikita nyo dito, nagdi-dissolve siya, no? Nagdi-disintegrate to become liquid kasi a tablet form cannot be absorbed. So kailangan mag-disintegrate muna siya. So kapag ang gamot chewable, no, nagkakaroon na ng disintegration doon pa lang sa bibig. But once it goes into the stomach, no, nagdi-dissolve pa siya into even smaller particles para siya ma-absorb. So when we say pharmaceutic phase, this is the time of disintegration and dissolution of drug. So nagdi-disintegrate siya and then it becomes a solution. Can you follow the pharmaceutic phase? Pwede pong mag-react. Thank you. Okay. So, like what I've said a while ago, the drug will disintegrate. So, it breaks down into smaller parts. From a tablet form, nagdi-disintegrate. So,
Nawala po yung PPT, ma'am.
nawala yung PPT? Nawala ba?
Visible pa po.
Okay.
Visible po, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So, katulad ng sinabi ko, if the drug is chewable, so magkakaroon na ng disintegration sa mouth. But kapag ka-tablet, tapos hindi naman siya chewable, magkakaroon ng disintegration as the drug goes into your stomach. So, syempre, may mga liquid, may saliva tayo dyan sa bibig, pagdating sa esophagus, down to the stomach. So, nagkakaroon na yan, nagkakaroon na ng breakdown into smaller parts, no? And then, dissolution will follow. So, nagkakaroon na ng further breakdown into smaller parts. So, this happens in the GIT. So, for faster absorption. So, nakakatulong yung ating mga gastric acid in the dissolution of these particles of drugs. Okay? Can you follow so far?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So we have what we call excipients. So ano ba itong excipients? These are tablets that are not 100% drug. So ang ibig sabihin niyan, inactive itong mga ito. So these are ingredients that are included in the tablet. Okay? So inactive substance or fillers or inert substances are excipients. So dito, it's mentioned here, it allows drug to take into a particular size, shape, and to enhance drug dissolution. So nakakatulong din siya para sa gamot in order for it to become a solution, no? So yun yung ating mga excipients. So kumbaga kino-combine siya sa mga active ingredients to form the drug, to make a halimbawa, to form it into a circle, or sometimes they give a color to the tablet or capsule, or pwede din capsule itself, the capsule, the hard gel or the soft gel capsule is an example of excipients. Okay, so we have here the factors affecting the rate of dissolution. Kasi mas mabilis ang rate of dissolution, there is faster absorption. Okay? So we have the form of drug. So we have the liquid versus solid. So it says here, liquid are more absorbed than solid or are absorbed faster than solid because they are readily available in the GI tract. Okay? So mabilis ang absorption kapag liquid form na agad yung gamot than solid form. Can you follow? So what about gastric pH? Okay? Acidic versus alkaline. So sabi dito, acidic media can facilitate dissolution. So since it is dissolved faster with acidic media, yung ating gastric acid will dissolve faster, okay, the drug or the tablet. So there is faster disintegration and there is faster absorption. But remember, we have drugs that are enteric coated. Can you still remember the enteric coated drug? Naalala pa ba si enteric coated? Saan siya nadidissolve?
Intestine.
Okay, so it is in the intestine. So it needs an alkaline environment para ma-dissolve siya. So yung acidic at saka alkaline pH, it depends upon the type of drug, no, na ibinibigay sa pasyente. Okay? So depende din 'yan kung anong form of drug. Okay, we also have age of the patient. So we have young patients and we have elderly. So mataas ang pH nila. So ibig sabihin, ang kanilang stomach has alkaline or more alkalinic ang kanilang stomach. So, ibig sabihin din yan, decrease din ang absorption. So, these factors would affect the rate of dissolution. And it also depends upon the type of tablet or the type of medication the patient takes in. Can you follow? Okay, so take note, the normal gastric pH is 1.5 to 3.5. No? As the number gets higher, the more alkaline the stomach is. At as the number goes lower, mas acidic ang stomach ng pasyente. Okay? So there are instances na nagiging alkaline yung ating stomach. For example, you take in yung mga sodium bicarb, yung mga bicarbonate, or kaya nagtitake ka ng mga medications that decreases stomach acid, yung mga Kreml S, yung mga yan. So, naa-alter din yung acidity. So, when you take medications, no, with this kind of pH, no, while taking certain drugs, naapektuhan din yung rate of dissolution and the absorption of the drug. Okay? So, kailangan isipin nyo or kailangan i-consider nyo itong mga ito before you give medication to your patient. Kasi may mga contraindications yan. Or there are times na the medications are absorbed faster in an acidic environment. Merong mga medication naman na na-absorb faster or better after you eat your lunch or your breakfast. May mga ganon. Kaya nga iba-iba yung time of administration natin sa gamot. Okay, so let's have other factors that affect the rate of dissolution. So like what I mentioned a while ago, enteric-coated drugs resist disintegration in gastric acid. Disintegration occurs only in the alkaline environment or in the intestine. So this medication should not be crushed. Bawal durugin. Kasi once you crush this one, yung pinaka-coating niya that would resist the dissolution or disintegration with the use of gastric acid, nawawala. So like what I mentioned last time, itong mga gamot na to, kaya sila kino-coat, no, with enteric coated or enteric coating para ma-prevent yung gastric irritation. So when you crush these medications, it will just cause irritation sa stomach. Sasakitan sila ng tiyan. We also have here the presence of food. Food may interfere with dissolution and absorption. It may also enhance absorption of other drugs. They can be protectants of the gastric mucosa. Kaya nga, it depends upon the medication. Kung kailangan walang food or you can give the medication with food, there are also medication that you can give after meals. Can you follow? Is this clear, guys? Okay, thank you. So let's have now the pharmacokinetic phase. No? This is the movement and modification of the medication inside the body. So kinetics means movement. Okay? So the drug will move inside our body. Okay? Meron din ditong nakalagay na statement. It is what the body does to the medication and how it does it. So nagkakaroon ng movement and the body will also modify the medication para ma-achieve natin yung drug action, which is the reason why we are taking the drug. Okay? And meron din dito, ano ang ginagawa ng body sa medication and paano niya ito ginagawa. So how the body does it. Can you follow? Okay, so we have here the processes of pharmacokinetics. So we have the mnemonics ADME. Okay, ADME. A stands for absorption. D stands for the distribution. M stands for metabolism. And E stands for elimination or excretion. Okay? So let's have first absorption. Okay, so this is the movement of the drug from the site of administration to the circulatory system. So for example, you have administered an oral medication or tablet into your patient. So where does this tablet be absorbed? Saang part ng body na-absorb ang ating tablet? Anybody? Small intestine. Very good. It is absorbed in the small intestine. So this is where absorption takes place when it comes to tablet. Okay, so we also have medications like yung mga sublingual forms. Okay, so saan natin nilalagay ang mga sublingual drugs or tablets?
Kailangan po ng dila.
Ilalim.
Dila. Okay, very good. Sublingual nga no? Sa ilalim ng dila. So saan naman siya, where does absorption takes place when we administer sublingual tablets? Saan? Saan na ngayon na-absorb kapag ka sublingual?
The vessels po.
Blood vessels in your under your tongue. Okay, very good, no? Doon yan sa blood vessels sa ilalim ng dila. Okay? So, bakit po kaya sa ilalim ng dila? Marami kasing mga blood vessels doon. So, faster ang absorption when we administer medication sublingually. Mabilis. Pero dapat yung drug mo o yung gamot mo is intended to be administered sublingually. Pwede bang mag-administer tayo ng tablet tapos ilalagay natin sa ilalim ng dila para
Opo.
mabilis ang absorption? Yes or no?
No.
No po.
Okay, very good, no? So, kailangan kung sublingual, sublingual. Kapag oral, oral. Ma'am, paano po yung sublingual? Pwede ko po siyang inumin? Can you take it orally? Yes or no?
Yes po, pero mabagal po yung
Absorption.
effect. Opo,
Okay.
yes.
Mabagal yung absorption, mabagal yung effect. Very good, no? Tama, no? Pwede namang inumin, but it takes a longer time for the tablet to be absorbed and to take its effect. Okay, very good, no? So, depende yan kung saan yung kanyang absorption site. Kaya nga nakalagay dito, no? The movement of the drug from the site of administration, to its absorption. Okay? To the site of administration to the circulatory system. So what about your intramuscular drug? Yung mga parenteral ninyo. Saan naman? Kapag intramuscular, saan siya nag-absorb?
Muscles.
Muscle, of course. Kaya nga, intramuscular. So intramuscular, mag-absorb doon. And of course, may mga blood vessels doon, no? And then we have your intravenous. So ang circulatory system, naandun na agad siya, no? So mas mabilis ang absorption ng drug kasi directly you administer the drug into the bloodstream. Okay? So it also says here, 80% of drugs are taken by mouth or enteral. Okay? So karamihan ng gamot, kasi nga accessible yan Halimbawa, punta ka sa doktor, hindi ka naman i-admit. Okay? Usually, mga oral drugs ang binibigay. Okay? So, we also have the word bioavailability. It is the availability of the drug to the general circulation or the site of pharmacological action. So, sabi dito, kapag available na yung drug sa circulation at saka site of pharmacological action. For example, may localized effect, katulad ng example natin last time, no? Localized effect sa mata. Okay, acetazolamide takes effect in the eyes, no? So kapag nandun na yung gamot sa site of action niya, that's the meaning of bioavailability. Okay? So let's move on to the factors controlling the rate and reliability of drug action. Kasi hindi naman porket acidic ito, mabilis na ang absorption. Diba? Kasi may mga certain conditions that would affect still the rate of drug absorption. Kaya nga magkakaiba. Bakit yung isang pasyente, no, na nagtitake ng parehong gamot with the other patient, pero yung isa effective sa kanya, yung isa walang effect. So ito yung mga reason, no? So number 1 dito is physiologic, and another factor is the physicochemical aspect. Okay, so when we speak of the physiologic factors, this involves the person himself. Okay? So yung well-being ng person o kung gaano siya tawag dito, kung ano yung mga pinagdadaanan niya at the moment. Okay? So it could involve the weight of the patient, the height of the patient. It may also involve the muscle mass, kung gaano kalaki yung kanyang mga muscles, no? It also being affected by the age of the patient. Okay? So that's physiologic. When we speak of the physicochemical aspect, we speak of the characteristic of the drug. Can you follow? Okay? The quality of the medication. Ayan ang physicochemical. Pag physiologic, the person who is going to take the drug. When we speak of the physicochemical aspect, when it comes to drug absorption, we are talking about the quality of the medication, the type of drug. Okay? So let's have now the different factors. We have, kanina na-mention ko na, no, yung age, yung weight ng patient. Yung mga yon, kino-consider natin yan when we try to compute the dose of the drug for a certain patient. No? So let's focus on the blood flow to the absorbing site. So na-mention ko din kanina, no, yung sublingual form of drug. It is administered under the tongue because mataas or madami ang blood vessels that we can find under the tongue. Okay? So blood flow to the absorbing site. Kapag maganda ang blood flow, kapag increase ang circulation, okay, maganda din ang absorption. So for example, dito sa ilalim ng dila, dahil maraming blood vessels dyan, nag-absorb ng mabilis ang gamot. Another one, kapag active yung patient, mabilis ang tibok ng puso, syempre nandun na siya sa bloodstream, no? It will be distributed fast into the other parts of the body because increase ang circulation. Maganda ang daloy ng dugo. Kumbaga, walang haharang-harang sa daan ng gamot. It can go immediately to its site of action. Can you follow? Nagkakaintindihan tayo dito.
Yes po, ma'am.
Thank you. We also have another factor which is the total surface area for absorption. So kapag malaki yung area of absorption, ano sa tingin nyo? Mabilis ang absorption or mabagal?
Mabagal po.
Mabagal? Total surface area. Okay? Mabilis.
Mabilis.
Okay, bakit? Because there is increased exposure of the drug. So mas mabilis siyang makarating doon, no? Parang nandun agad yung site kung saan siya magkakaroon ng contact. More binding sites of the drug. Halimbawa sa skin, o malaki yan, no? Nagka-come in contact agad yung medication doon sa area of action. Kaya nagkakaroon na agad siya ng effect. For example, in your subcutaneous administration, kapag madaming fats, the drug is absorbed faster. Kaya nga, pinipili natin yung mga area sa stomach natin or sa body ng patient kung saan mas maraming fats because the drug will be absorbed faster because there are more binding sites. There is increased exposure of the drug to its area of absorption. Can you follow so far? Am I clear here, guys?
Yes po.
Yes
Po,
po.
ma'am.
Next, we have the time of arrival and the contact time at the absorption site. Okay? So for sure, alam nyo na to, no? Kapag mabilis nakarating ang gamot sa absorption site, syempre mabilis din ang action. Mabilis, halimbawa, si intravenous. Okay? Intravenous, andun na agad siya sa site kung saan siya dapat mag-absorb. Nasa bloodstream na eh. Okay? So, how about yung mga oral drugs? It takes time pa. Mag-undergo pa siya ng pharmaceutic phase. Magkakaroon pa siya ng disintegration. Magkakaroon pa siya ng dissolution until it reaches its absorption site. So, mas matagal. So, meron din tayong mga medications like your enteric-coated, no? Doon pa siya sa intestine magkakaroon ng dissolution. Okay? So, medyo matagal. So, mas mabilis ang absorption kapag mabilis nakakarating sa absorption site. Can you follow? So, that's basically the physiologic aspect kung saan nakakaapekto yung mga ito sa drug absorption. How about the physicochemical aspect of the drug? No, we have number 1, solubility. Number 2, chemical stability. Number 3, the lipid to water partition coefficient. And number 4, the degree of ionization. So let's discuss them one by one. So solubility, chemical stability, the lipid to water partition coefficient, and the degree of ionization. So pakibasa naman ito, yung solubility, Mayoyo, Araros.
Solubility. The ability of a substance to dissolve and form a solution. Solubility of the substance depends on the solvent used. Soluble drugs equals increase of absorption. It dissolves quickly and readily available for absorption.
Okay. So pag sinabi nating solubility, ayun nga, kapag nade-dissolve, no, yung drug, okay, yung solute becomes a solution. Okay, so it depends upon the solvent used. Okay, so kapag yung mga soluble drugs, mas mabilis ang absorption. It dissolves quickly, so it is readily available for absorption. Okay, so doon muna tayo. Mag-stick muna tayo doon. Pag soluble ang drug, mabilis ang absorption. Okay? So next, we have the chemical stability. Okay, basa ito. How? Garmel.
Chemical stability. Gastric pH affects drug stability. Acid increase solubility for some drugs. Example, rifampicin, penicillin, iron, proton pump inhibitors. Alkaline increases solubility of some drugs. Enteric-coated drugs like aspirin.
Okay. So yung stability ng drug, no? Affects drug absorption. So may mga gamot tayo that are soluble in acid environment. So pagdating pa lang nila sa stomach, nagiging soluble na. Okay, nadi-dissolve na. Meron din tayong mga drugs that are increased in its solubility kapag nasa alkaline environment, katulad nga ng mga enteric-coated drug. Okay? So let's move on to the next one. Okay, read this one. Pagbobo, Watanaya.
substitution coefficient. The measure of a drug's lipophilicity, lipid solubility, compared to its hydrophilicity, water solubility. Lipophilic drugs, lipid soluble. Absorb faster because it can cross the biological membrane easily, like the intestinal membrane, blood-brain barrier. Any excess of fat-soluble vitamins don't immediately leave the body. Instead, they're stored in the liver or fatty tissue for later use. Vitamin A, D, E, K. Example, diazepam, propranolol, and lidocaine.
Okay. So when we speak of the lipid to water partition coefficient, so dito, mini-measure daw niya yung drug's lipophilicity. Okay? Ang ibig sabihin nun, lipophilic, philus means love. Ang mga gamot, may mga gamot that loves fats. Okay? Compared to its hydrophilicity. So meron din tayo mga gamot na gustong-gusto yung water. Okay? So, water solubility. So, it measures the drug lipophilicity compared to its hydrophilicity. Sila ba ay fat-loving or sila ba ay water-loving? So, meron tayong tinatawag na lipophilic drugs. They are lipid-soluble. Okay? So, kapag may fats, nag-absorb sila ng mabilis because they can cross the biological membrane o yung cell membrane, no? Kasi fatty yung area na yun, mataba. However, any excess of fat-soluble vitamins or fat-soluble drugs, no? Hindi yan agad na-excrete or na-eliminate sa ating body or sa body ng patient. Instead, they are stored in the liver or the fatty tissue for later use. Katulad ng mga vitamins A, D, E, K, or katulad ng mga diazepam, propranolol, or lidocaine. Kapag lipid-soluble ang drug, kung mapapansin nyo, pagka nag-take kayo ng mga ganito, hindi mo siya agad-agad na-eliminate or na-excrete. Na-store sila sa body. So, ang tendency nito, mas nagkakaroon ng toxicity ang pasyente. Okay? Greater ang chance na magkaroon ng drug toxicity. Kasi nga, nai-store siya, nandoon lang siya sa katawan ng pasyente. Hindi siya na-eliminate agad. It is absorbed faster because it is lipid soluble. However, they are eliminated slower or they are excreted slower. So there is a greater chance na magkaroon ng drug toxicity or magkaroon ng increased level in the body of your patient. Okay? So how about yung mga hydrophilic drugs, no? Water soluble naman ito or water loving tinatawag, no? Philus means love, hydro. They have poor membrane permeability. Hindi agad sila nakaka-penetrate sa cell membrane because 'di ba, kapag yung taba nagre-repel yan ng water, hindi niya agad yan na-absorb, no? So sabi dito, use specific transporters to facilitate absorption. Water-soluble drugs travel freely through the body and excess amounts usually are excreted by the kidneys. So kapag hydrophilic yung drug, kapag water-soluble yung drug, hindi kasi iniisip natin, ay water-soluble. So mabilis yan ma-absorb. Okay? Mabilis siya ma-dissolve. Tama. Pero when it comes to absorption, when you compare it to drugs that are lipophilic, mas mabagal ang absorption pag water-soluble yung drug. Dahil, hindi nga, ang katulad nito, take a look at this, no? Ito, we have the bilayer ng lipids. Ayan, fats yung mga yan, no? So kapag ganyan, lipophilic drugs, mas mabilis mag-absorb dyan kesa sa water. and kailangan pa ng yung tubig mismo, kailangan pa ng transporters to facilitate its absorption. So mamaya i-discuss natin 'yon. So kung mapapansin niyo, nag-take ka ng vitamin C, naku masamang pakiramdam ko, mag-take nga ako ng 2,000 milligrams na vitamin C. Anong mangyayari after mong mag-take nun? Maya-maya kulay dilaw na yung ihi mo. Kasi nandun lang siya, oh. The drug only travels freely in your bloodstream. Nandun lang siya. And once it passes the kidneys, may eliminate lang siya. Sasama lang siya sa ihi. Okay? Same is true with your vitamin B. Can you follow? Naintindihan ba? Itong part na to. Can you follow so far? Am I clear, guys?
po.
Okay. Let's move on to the degree of ionization. So ano naman ito? So we have the non-ionized versus ionized. Okay, naalala nyo si ion, no? Yung mga yung inyong chemistry. Okay? So non-ionized, they are more lipophilic. So pag non-ionized ang drug, they are more lipophilic. So kapag lipophilic, are they absorbed faster? Yes or no?
Yes po, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, example niyan, aspirin. Ionized naman, they are more hydrophilic. So, they slowly absorb because it cannot penetrate the semi-permeable membrane. Yung mga ion katulad ng positively charged, negatively charged. So, katulad nito, sodium is positively charged and chloride is negatively charged. Whether it's positively charged or negatively charged, it's still ionized. So tandaan, kapag ionized, they are more hydrophilic. It means they are absorbed slowly. Okay? So calcium is positively charged, so it's still ionized. Okay? Ayan. So positively charged and negatively charged ng isang particle. So we also have yung weak acid tsaka weak base. So ano naman ito, no? So weak acid are acid that do not completely dissociate in a solution. Ang ibig sabihin niyan, kapag hinalo mo siya sa tubig or in any solution, hindi agad siya nag-break. Okay? So weak acid are more ionized in basic environment. Okay, weak acid are more ionized in a basic environment, less ionized in acidic environment. So kapag ang weak acid, no, nilagay mo siya sa acidic environment, will it absorb faster or slower? Who says faster? Weak acid, nasa stomach. Okay? So, ang mga weak acid ba absorb faster? Yes or no?
No po.
So, weak acid, sabi natin, no? It becomes less ionized in acidic environment. So, mas mabilis ba ang absorption ng
Mas mabilis po, ma'am.
Okay, kasi less ionized siya. Can you follow? So kapag nasa basic environment naman siya, halimbawa enteric coated yung mga weak acid, let's say, no? Enteric coated napunta sa stomach. Mabilis ang absorption? Yes or no? No. Kasi ayan, no? More ionized naman siya sa basic environment. Okay? So how about ayan, ito yan, no? So kapag weak acid, hindi siya yung matapang katulad ng mga hydrochloric acid, hindi yung mga yan, no? Hindi siya matapang. Yun lang yung ibig sabihin nun. How about weak bases? These are bases that upon dissolution in water does not dissociate completely. Kanina si weak acid, kapag sinama mo sa tubig or in a solution, hindi din siya nagbe-break. Ganon din si weak base. Hindi din siya nag-dissociate completely. So weak bases are more ionized in an acidic environment and less ionized in basic environment. So mas maganda ang absorption weak base sa basic environment din. Base to base, kumbaga. Kasi they become less ionized. So ganun din si weak acid. Acid to acid. Okay, weak acid. Mas maganda ang absorption sa acid environment because they become less ionized. Klaro ba tayo dito, guys? Okay? So mamaya ano natin, mas ma-appreciate nyo mamaya towards the end of the discussion yung weak acid at saka weak bases. Kung paano naman yung elimination. Ano ba yung importance nitong mga ito? Okay? So let's move on to the movement of drug particles from the GIT to the body fluids. So we have the three processes, the passive transport, the pinocytosis, and the active transport. Okay, who wants to read this one? Let me see. Mayoyo, Ara Rose.
Passive transport. Number 1, diffusion. Diffusion drugs move across the cell membrane from an area of higher concentration to one of lower concentration. Diffusion takes
Sige, continue.
Diffusion takes place in the aqueous and lipid environment. Aqueous, GIT, interstitial compartments or area between the cells and blood vessels. Lipid environment, cell membrane, adipose tissue.
Okay. So pag nagkaroon ng diffusion ng drug, yung movement na ng drug from higher concentration to a lower concentration. Okay? So katulad niyan, no? Syempre, nauna, nag-absorb na yung drug sa bloodstream. Nandun na sa bloodstream. It goes to the cell. So that is the movement of drug from blood to cell. So mataas ang tawag dito, amount of drug in the blood vessels and it goes to the cell wherein there is lower concentration of drug. Also in the lipid environment, no? So nagkakaroon ng absorption sa cell membrane or sa adipose tissue. So from higher to lower, that's diffusion. Let's have the next one. Okay, basa ito. I want to hear from Nutas, Neil Matthew. Nutas. Mr. Nutas. Tignan ko nga kung nakikinig itong mga ito. Kasi ilan lang yung nagre-record. Sige. You may read this one. Okay, basa.
Passive transport. Facilitated diffusion requires a carrier such as an enzyme or protein to move the drug against a concentration gradient. Does not require energy.
Okay, so when we speak of facilitated diffusion, kailangan daw ng enzyme or protein para ma-move yung drug from higher to lower. Okay, so hindi kailangan ng energy, pero kailangan ng enzyme or protein. Okay? So, that's facilitated diffusion. Wala pa ring energy. Kaya siya passive. Kumbaga, parang hindi nagkakaroon ng effort yung drug. Tapos, makikarry siya or matatransport siya from area kung saan siya nag-absorb into an area kung saan siya kailangan. Okay? So, from higher to lower pa rin ito. Kailangan lang niya ng enzyme or protein. Next. Delphine, Erica, pakibasa ito. I will read this one.
Pinocytosis is the process by which bacteria drug across the membrane by engulfing the drug particles in a vesicle.
Okay, thank you. No? Pino means to drink. Okay? Cell membrane folds and creates small pockets and captures the cellular fluid and dissolved substance. So nagfo-form siya, ini-engulf niya, no? So katulad nito. Okay? Tapos, magfo-form siya ng vesicle para mapunta siya. So extracellular fluid, ito yung intracellular para capture niya muna yung mga dissolved particles and then magpo-form siya ng vesicle. That's pinocytosis. Para lang mag-cross over yung mga substances into the intracellular membrane kung saan kailangan yung gamot. That's pinocytosis. Let's have the last one. Diba? Sa Hershey. Ay, nako na. Natabunan yung Hershey. Hindi ko nakita yung apelido. Okay, sige. Si Miss Macario na lang.
Active transport. It requires energy to facilitate the transport of drug molecules against a concentration gradient, which usually occurs at a specific, I can't see the
Specific sites.
specific sites in the small intestine.
Okay. Thank you. Naku, nag-nosebleed naman ako sa accent ni Mr. Sino yun ulit? Sorry, hindi ko natandaan yung kanyang pangalan. Okay, thank you for that. Okay. Active transport, so kailangan ng energy. Kanina si passive, si diffusion, at saka si facilitated diffusion, it does not need energy. Okay? So dito sa active transport, kailangan na ng energy to facilitate the transport of the drug. So kailangan ng push, kailangan ng something na magtutulak sa gamot para makapasok siya doon sa loob ng membrane. So for example, in the small intestine. Okay? So it requires energy to facilitate the transport or the movement of drug molecules into against the concentration gradient, which is basically the cell membrane. Can you follow? So kailangan muna siyang itulak. Kailangan ng adenosine triphosphate. That's the energy na kailangan para matransport yung drug from area of absorption into an area of its tawag dito, site of action. Can you follow so far? Am I clear, guys?
Yes po.
Okay. Yung iba, naintindihan ba ito? Kasi napaka-importante yung movement ng drug. Ay, bakit kaya gano'n, no? Bakit yung mga gamot na ito, yung iba, madali lang siyang, kahit madaling maka-overdose. Bakit may mga gamot na kahit uminom ako ng madami, hindi naman ako na-overdose. Iniihi ko lang. Okay? Nailalabas ko lang yung sobra pag hindi ko nagamit. Yan. So, ito yung mga reason. No? Let's have the next process. We're done with absorption. Let's have the distribution. So when we speak of the distribution, this is the process by which drug becomes available to the body fluids and tissues. Okay? So from the absorption or the site of administration, nagkaroon ng absorption doon sa bloodstream and then pupunta na ngayon sa site of action. Okay? So it depends upon the area. Kapag localized, so doon lang siya magkakaroon ng effect. Kapag mayroong systemic effect, so buong katawan makakaroon ng pharmacologic effect yung drug. That's the process of distribution. It is the movement of the drug from the circulation to the body tissues kung saan magkakaroon ng pharmacologic effect. So for example, sa stomach, so doon siya magkakaroon ng take effect. Sa brain, para sa utak, yung gamot. So doon din yung site of action, doon siya ngayon madidistribute doon magkakaroon ng movement yung drug. For example, para doon sa growing fetus, yung gamot. So doon din siya magkakaroon ng magte-take effect. Can you follow? Yan, meron na namang hindi nakamute ang microphone. Pakimute please. Naintindihan ba yung distribution?
Yes po.
The bloodstream or from the circulation into the tissues. Nandun kasi magkakaroon ng effect. Okay, that's distribution. Okay, pakibasa naman ito. Miss Tapok, Lara.
Process of pharmacokinetics distribution transporters help drugs get across biological barriers, such as the gut lining, or to work to exclude them from a part of the body, such as the brain. Transporters are direct targets for many drugs, and most drugs are thought to interact with at least one transporter. Pwede po ba example, ma'am?
Sige.
Example, P-glycoprotein, PGP, organic anion transporting polypeptides, or OATP.
Okay. So, itong mga transporters na to, no, tinutulungan nila yung gamot para makapunta doon sa area kung saan sila nararapat. Okay? So, katulad doon sa gut lining. Ano naman, pwede din nilang i-exclude, no? Sabi dito, work to exclude them from a part of the body. So, for example, meron tayong yung mga gamot na hindi nakaka-penetrate doon sa brain. Meron namang mga gamot na nakaka-penetrate naman sa placenta. Okay? So, may mga ganon. Because of the transporters. Sila yung nagdadala doon sa area na yon. So, pwedeng makapass through doon sa mga barriers or i-exclude nila yung mga barriers o yung mga areas na yon katulad ng brain. Okay? So, ito mismo yung direct targets ng mga drugs natin. Transport, sila yung nagkikarry. Dinadala nila yung mga substances na yon into where it is needed. Okay, so we have the different factors that would affect the distribution of drugs. So meron tayong tinatawag na protein binding, blood flow, the size of the organ. Para magkaroon, so kumbaga makakaapekto itong mga ito bago magkaroon ng pharmacologic effect ang isang drug. So let's have protein binding. Ano ba itong protein binding na ito? Kindly read this one, Mr. Castro Miguel.
Protein binding, the reversible association of the drug with the proteins of the plasma compartment of blood due to electrostatic and hydrophobic forces between drug and protein. Agents that are minimally protein bound penetrate tissue better than highly bounded agents. Unbound drugs are pharmacologically active.
Okay, so sabi dito, reversible association. Yung protein binding daw, nagbabind yung gamot sa protein. It is reversible, meaning magde-detach din siya, magsa-separate din siya. Okay? So tama nga yung sinabi, walang forever. Kasi ito nga, nag-bind yung gamot sa protein, pero naghihiwalay din. Ayan, reversible association of drug with proteins. Okay? Ng ating mga blood. Okay? So once the drug is in the bloodstream, nagkakaroon ng connection, attachment, or association yung gamot na yon at saka sa protein. This is due to electrostatic and hydrophobic forces between the drug and protein. Kaya nagkakaroon ng attachment. So sabi dito, yung mga agents or drugs that are minimally protein bounded penetrate tissue better than highly bounded. Ang ibig sabihin niyan, kung konti lang, minimal lang yung attachment, yung substance na yon nag-attach eto sa albumin, for example, because that's protein. Pag konti lang yung attachment niya sa protein, ano sabi dito? Penetrate tissue better. Ang ibig sabihin, mas nakakarating sila or nagkakaroon siya ng take effect ng mas maganda because they penetrate the tissue better. So for example, nakarating agad, nag-bound siya sa albumin. Dahil konti lang yung nag-attach sa albumin, nagpe-penetrate siya sa tissue. So, mas maganda yung epekto or mas mabilis yung absorption. Mas mabilis yung effect. Kasi tapos na tayo sa absorption. Nagtitake effect agad siya doon sa tissue na yon. Okay? Compared sa highly bounded, mas marami yung mga agents na nag-bound sa protein, so mas matagal yung effect. Okay? Or mas mababa yung action doon sa patient. Ang sabi din dito, unbound drugs are pharmacologically active. Okay? So yung mga gamot na hindi nag-bind sa protein are pharmacologically active. However, para makapenetrate siya sa tissue, kailangan niya mag-bind muna sa protein. Okay? Kasi kapag hindi siya nag-bound or nag-bind sa protein, nandun lang sila sa bloodstream. It will not be distributed to the different tissues where the drug is needed. Kailangan mag-bound siya or mag-bind siya. Kailangan magkaroon siya ng association. Hindi pwedeng mag-isa lang. Kasi pharmacologically active or unbound drugs are pharmacologically active. Pero nandun lang sila sa bloodstream. Hindi sila magkakaroon ng effect. So, eventually, kapag hindi nag-bind sa protein ang gamot, maiihi lang siya. Lalabas lang siya in a form of urine. So, it should bind with protein first. Can you follow? Nagkakaintindihan ba tayo doon sa part na yon? Balikan natin yung iba pang ano. Dito tayo. Okay? So, yung blood flow also affects the distribution. Okay? So, okay na tayo sa protein binding, no? Nagbabind ang ating mga agents sa protein ng blood like albumin. So, sa blood flow naman, kapag increase or maganda ang circulation, syempre, mas mabilis magkaroon ng action yung drug. So, for example, intravenous, di ba? Maganda yung blood flow, walang interruption, maganda din agad yung distribution, nakakarating agad siya sa site of action niya. And also, the size of the organ. Okay? So, yung distribution ng drug, kapag malaki yung organ, mas mabilis din yung epekto. Okay? So there is the what we call distribution of the drug. Magkakaroon na siya ng pharmacologic effect doon. Magkakaroon na ng action yung drug. Let's move on to metabolism. Any questions so far? May question ba tayo, guys?
None po.
None po, ma'am.
So let's have metabolism. Pakibasa naman ito, Kim. Kim Chua ba to? Kim May Chua?
Yes po. Process of kinetics, drugs metabolism, aka biotransformation, is the process by which the body chemically change drugs into form that can be excreted, more water soluble, active to inactive form.
Okay. So nag-a-undergo ng metabolism yung drug or biotransformation. So sabi dito, the body chemically changes the drug into a form that can be excreted. Okay? So sabi natin kanina, yung ating mga gamot, no, pharmacologically active. Okay? Kapag ang drug pharmacologically active, inactive, nandun lang sila. Okay? So, hindi yan mai-eliminate. Kailangan matransform mo na siya into inactive form. Okay? Kumbaga, wala nang epekto. I-convert ng body natin into inactive form yung drug para maiihi mo siya. Kasi once the drug remains pharmacologically active, paikot-ikot lang yan sa bloodstream. And what happens is, magkakaroon ng drug toxicity kasi nagkakaroon yan ng accumulation. So the body needs to convert it to inactive form para ma-excrete siya or ma-eliminate siya from the body. Okay? So that's basically drug metabolism. Kailangan from active maging inactive form siya para maihi. That's metabolism. Let's have the first fast effect. Pakibasa ito. Garcia. Ano to? Genask ba to? Sorry, hindi ko masyado.
Yes po. First fast effect. A drug undergo rapid metabolism at a specific location in the body, result in a reduced concentration of active drug upon reaching its site of action or the systemic circulation. Major location is liver or other areas of lungs. Some drugs of metabolize to an inactive form and excreted reduced amount of active drug decrease bioavailability.
Okay. So we have the first fast effect or first fast metabolism. Sabi dito, kapag nag-take ka ng drug, no, nag-undergo yung drug ng rapid metabolism. Okay? So kapag nag-undergo ng first fast effect ang drug or first fast metabolism, nagre-reduce siya, nire-reduce niya yung active drug. Okay? Yung amount of drug. Okay? Bago pa man siya magkaroon ng action. Upon reaching its site of action, nagde-decrease na agad yung concentration ng drug. So this happens in the liver and other areas like lungs. So pero ang main action of first or main location ng ating first pass effect is the liver. Some drugs are metabolized into active form and reducing its active drug. Nagde-decrease din yung bioavailability, no? Bago makarating sa site of action, yung gamot, nag-decrease na agad. So, remember, most the kinds of drugs na nag-undergo ng first pass effect ay yung mga oral drugs. Kasi sila yung dadaan sa GIT. Tapos, bago pa man pumunta sa circulation ang isang gamot, katulad nito. Okay? So, once the drug enters the mouth, pupunta sa stomach. Okay? So, some will go to the liver na agad. So, dito na nagkakaroon ng first pass effect. And then, bago pa man magkaroon yan ng distribution. Yan. So, dyan at saka dito. Yan. So, nandito yan sa absorption. Ayan. Meron yan connection. Ma-absorb dun sa liver. Okay? Nagkakaroon ng first pass effect. Kapag nagkaroon ng first pass effect, nare-reduce yung amount of active drug. Okay? So, ang ibig sabihin, yung mga gamot na ininom natin orally, nati-decrease na yan yung kanyang active form o yung kanyang yung dose niya. Kumbaga, for example, si paracetamol. Kapag nag-take tayo ng paracetamol oral, ilang milligrams yan? Ilang milligrams ang ating paracetamol?
500.
500 milligrams. Tama, oral yan eh. Okay? 500 milligrams ang oral na paracetamol. Pero, kapag IV, so this is oral, kapag intravenous, ang milligrams niya ay 300 milligrams. Pero, effective pa rin ito, yung IV, no? Ito kasing paracetamol, once it enters the stomach at pumunta sa intestine for absorption, dumadaan yan sa liver. So nagre-reduce na agad yung amount niya, yung dose niya. Hindi katulad ni intravenous, hindi yan dumadaan sa liver. Diretso yan sa site of action. Kaya hindi kailangan mataas. Can you follow? Because oral drugs will undergo first pass metabolism or first pass effect, wherein the amount of drug is reduced, not necessarily into half, pero nababawasan yung kanyang dose. Kaya nga kapag IV na, dahil hindi nag-undergo ng first pass effect or first pass metabolism, yung mga IV natin, hindi kailangan 500. 300 is enough. At mabilis pa ang action. Kasi nga, nandun agad siya sa bloodstream. Can you follow? Kasi paracetamol oral, yung biogesic nyo, ako dadaan pa sa lalamunan, dadaan pa sa esophagus, magkakaroon pa ng dissolution, and then bababa sa intestine, it takes 30 minutes, no, bago pa siya ma-absorb. So, matagal. Hindi katulad ni IV na mabilis naman na mag-take effect kasi nasa bloodstream na agad siya. Any questions so far?
None po.
Okay, naintindihan ba? Okay, napaka-importante ni pharmacokinetics. Now, let's have the cytochrome P450 system or the CYP. Okay, basa. Miss Peña Redondo. Miss Peña Redondo.
Cytochrome P450 system or CYP. Hemi-containing liver enzymes that convert drugs to metabolites, making the drug inactive. Some metabolites are still pharmacologically active. Decreased drug metabolism rate will result to excess drug accumulation that can
Saan ka na? Where are you now?
nasa last po ma'am, hindi po makita
Can
yung P.
lead toxicity. Can lead to toxicity. Okay, thank you. Okay? So, meron din tayong cytochrome P450 system or CYP. Ito naman ay enzyme. No? Yung enzyme na yan sa liver, aside from minemetabolize ng liver yung drug, meron pa siyang enzyme that will convert the drug into metabolites. Okay? So, nagiging inactive. Okay? Yung drug kapag naging metabolite siya. Some metabolites, however, hindi naman lahat ng metabolites are inactive. Some metabolites are still pharmacologically active. Ito yung mga prodrug, no? Hindi niya kayang gawing inactive yung mga yan. Decreased drug metabolism rate will result to excess drug accumulation that can lead to toxicity. Kapag mabagal yung metabolism rate, no? For example, the patient is suffering from liver problem. Meron siyang fatty liver or kaya may liver cirrhosis, mga ganon. Decrease ang metabolism rate o baka mamaya hindi nga siya makametabolize ng gamot. Hindi niya ngayon madedecrease yung amount, no? Hindi niya marireduce yung amount. Hindi magkakaroon ng first pass effect ang gamot. Okay? Hindi rin niya magawang metabolites yung ibang gamot. So, it will lead to toxicity. So, what will the doctor do kapag may ganitong problema ang pasyente? Hindi niya ngayon bibigyan ng oral medication. The doctor will give intravenous meds kasi hindi ka kailanganin ng metabolism ng liver, no? Hindi niya nakakailanganin kasi mag-a-absorb, magte-take effect siya even without the action of the liver or the function of the liver. At para din hindi magkaroon ng toxicity. Kasi nag-a-accumulate yan kapag may problema yung liver natin, no? O yung liver ng pasyente. So nakakaapekto yan. Let's move on to drug half-life. Okay? Pakibasa naman ito, kasili. Kasili.
Drug half-life. The time it takes for the amount of drug in the body to be reduced by half. It's eliminated. Different drugs have different half-lives.
Saan ka na? However,
However, they all follow this rule. After one half-life has passed, 50% of the initial drug amount is removed from the body.
okay, sige, mag-CR lang daw. Pwede daw mag-CR. Sige, bago natin i-discuss itong drug half-life. Pwede mag-CR. 5 minutes. Para hindi ma-miss. Yan, nakabalik na ba? Tapos na ba 5 minutes? Okay, can we continue? Shall we continue? So, importante to kasi kasama to sa inyong exam. Drug half-life. Magko-compute kayo dito. Okay, so sabi dito, drug half-life is the time it takes for the amount of drug in the body to be reduced by half. Okay? Yung kalahati na ilalabas or naiihi, yung iba nandun pa rin sa katawan, nandun pa rin sa system. So drugs have different half-lives. However, they follow this rule. Sabi dito, after one half-life has passed, 50% of the initial drug amount is removed from the body. So yung kalahati, kapag lumipas na yung half-life ng gamot na yon, kalahati na ang nai-eliminate. Naintindihan ba tong part na to? Is this clear, guys? Yes or no?
Yes po.
Okay. So, iba-iba po ang drug half-life. So, makikita nyo po yan sa inyong drug handbook kung ano yung half-life ng mga gamot. No? Tapos, may mga gamot din tayo. No? Iba-iba yung pag-take. Meron tayong once a day, meron tayong twice a day, meron 3 times a day, meron every 4 hours. This is because of the drug half-life ng gamot na yan. Okay, sabi dito, pakibasa na lang. Jana Cassandra ng A5. A5. Hindi ko makita yung apelido. Jana Cassandra, nakasombrero yung kanyang profile. Pakibasa please. Andyan ba si Jana? Ito pa naman ang profile pic.
Di daw po ma-open yung mic mo.
Diba? Oliva Samuel. Pakibasa.
Therapeutic effect of the drug can be achieved when the amount of drug being administered is the same as the amount of drug being eliminated. A steady state of drug concentration is necessary to achieve optimal therapeutic benefit.
Okay. So yung gamot, guys, it is therapeutic. It has still its effect or it is still effective. Okay? Meron pa siyang therapeutic effect kapag yung amount of drug that is eliminated is equal to the amount of drug administered. Okay, so sabi dito, when the amount of drug being administered is the same as the amount of drug being eliminated. So sabi kanina, na-reduce in half. Lumipas yung half-life, ilang percent ang naihi mo? Once the drug passes its drug half-life, ilang percent ang drug na naihi mo? Anybody? Ilang percent ang na-eliminate natin? Ilang percent?
50%.
50. Okay? However, mamimaintain natin yung therapeutic effect if, sabi dito, can be achieved when the amount of drug being administered is the same as the amount of drug being eliminated. So, dapat, bigyan mo ulit siya ng same amount. Okay? Doon sa naihi. So, there should be a steady state of drug concentration na magkaroon ng therapeutic benefit or therapeutic effect. Okay? So, kailangan daw same yung amount. Yan. So, sabi dito, example natin, ibuprofen has half-life of 2 hours. If the patient takes 200 milligrams in 2 hours, 50% of the drug will be gone, leaving 100 milligrams. So kapag ang ating ibuprofen kasi, sabi niya, ang half-life daw niya ay 2 oras. So kapag lumipas yung 2 oras, meron siyang 50% na natitira, which is 100. So sa 100, effective pa yan. Okay? Kasi yung na-eliminate natin is 100. Can you follow? Naihina ng pasyente yung 100 milligrams. Meaning, meron pang natitirang 100 milligrams sa system ng pasyente. So, effective pa siya kasi equal pa yan eh. 100 milligrams yung nasa katawan ng pasyente, 100 milligrams ang nandoon sa ihi na eliminate na. So, after another 2 hours had passed, okay? So, yung 100 milligrams mo, magiging 50 milligrams na lang. Okay? So, at this point, do you think the drug, your ibuprofen, is still effective? At this point, hindi na. Kasi hindi na equal. Can you follow? So, for example, nag-take ng alas 6 a.m. yung patient natin ng ibuprofen, 200 milligrams. At 8 a.m., so 2 oras, mihi. So, nag-decrease na sa 50%. So, nandun pa. Effective pa yan. Hindi pa masyadong nakakaramdam ng sakit yung pasyente. Okay? So, at 10 a.m., another half of the 100 milligrams, magiging 50 milligrams na lang. So, hindi na effective. This is the time when the drug should be administered again. Kaya every 4 hours ibinibigay. Can you follow? Nagkakaintindihan ba tayo? Nasasagot ba ito, guys? Naintindihan ba ito? Gagawin niyo ito sa inyong exam, no? Yung ating drug metabolism, yung half-life. After 2 hours, magiging 50 milligrams. Another 2 hours will pass 25 milligrams na lang. Another 2 hours. So, dito pa lang, ayan, hindi na yan effective. No? So, kailangan dito, iinom na ulit ng gamot yung pasyente. Kaya, every 4 hours. Do you follow? Klaro ba tayo? So, iba-iba po.
Yes, Doc.
Okay, iba-iba po ang half-life ng gamot. So kapag meron kayong drug handbook, nakalagay dyan, half-life, immediate release, 7 to 10 hours. So magkakaiba po ang half-life ng mga gamot natin. Kaya magkakaiba din yung frequency ng administration. Kung kailan nyo siya ibibigay, may once a day. So what do you think? Kapag once a day, ang pagbibigay natin ng gamot, ano ang masasabi niyo sa drug half-life niya? Longer or shorter?
Longer po.
Longer. Okay, very good. Kasi nga, effective siya hanggang 24 hours. So minsan, yung mga mahaba ang drug half-life, pwedeng twice a day or once a day. Depende sa time kung gaano kahaba yung drug half-life. Okay? So half-life, elimination of half-life. So ito yung ating formula, no? T over 1/2. Short T 1/2. So kapag short ang kanyang half-life, for example, 4 to 8 hours, the drug is given several times a day. Example, penicillin given every 6 hours. Kasi effective siya kapag hindi pa siya bumababa sa kanyang half-life. No? So hindi mo pwedeng ibigay, for example, ang penicillin, pwede bang ibigay ko 2 beses isang araw na lang? Kasi walang pambili ang pasyente. No, kasi hindi na siya therapeutically effective. Meron din tayong gamot na longer ang half-life, more than 12 hours, given twice a day or once a day. So ma'am, pwede po ba para po mas effective? Sobrang sakit ng ulo ko. Imbes na every 4 hours, gawin kong every 2 hours. No. Kasi nandun pa naman yung therapeutic effect. Magkakaroon lang ng drug toxicity ang pasyente mo. Kasi, andun pa siya effective pa siya. Okay? Ma'am, anong gagawin ko kapag halimbawa, in pain pa rin yung patient ko? You'd rather give another type of pain reliever kapag siya ay in pain pa rin kaysa bigyan mo siya ng kaparehong gamot. Can you follow? So, ganun yan. Hindi pwedeng bigyan mo kasi hindi pa effective or hindi tumalab. Okay? Kasi nandun pa yung kanyang effect. As long as nandun pa siya sa half ng gamot, drug half-life niya, effective pa rin siya. Pero pag lumagpas ulit ng another 2 hours, doon na makakaramdam ng pain. Ay, sumasakit na nurse. Bigyan mo na ako ng gamot. Okay? So, klaro tayo sa drug half-life. Let's have the factors that affect drug metabolism. So, maraming mga factors, no? Kasi iba-iba Kaya nga, katulad nga ng sinabi ko, ang mga pasyente natin, kahit pare-pareho yung kanilang condition, pare-parehong sakit, pare-parehong may lagnat, pare-pareho mong binigyan ng paracetamol. Pero yung iba sa kanila, effective yung paracetamol, mabilis nag-take effect. Yung iba naman, it takes few hours bago magkaroon ng effect. Yung iba naman, no effect at all because of the different factors na pwedeng makaapekto dito sa mga process na to. So let's have the factors: genetics, environment, stress, and physiologic aspect. Okay? So sabi sa genetics, some people metabolize drugs rapidly, others more slowly. Okay? So pagka mabilis ang metabolism because of the genes, di ba? May mga ganon, no? May mga person talaga na mabilis ang metabolism. Kaya hindi yan tumataba. Okay? May mga person na mabagal ang metabolism, kaya mataba. Okay? Kapag mabilis ang metabolism nila, mabilis din ang metabolism ng drug. So, definitely, mas lesser yung chance na magkaroon sila ng drug toxicity. How about physiologic? Ayan, katulad kanina, no? Kapag may liver disease ang pasyente, ang metabolism ay mabagal o minsan, delikado kapag binigyan mo pa ng oral medications. Kapag may liver disease, may liver cirrhosis, hindi niya na kaya yung i-convert into inactive form. Magkakaroon lang yan ng drug toxicity. Infants as well, tsaka elderlies, no? Mabagal ang kanilang metabolism. So careful tayo in giving medications to them. Kasi mabilis silang magkaroon ng problema. Pwedeng magkaroon ng adverse effects yung drug, pwedeng magkaroon ng drug toxicity. Okay? Kaya nga pagdating sa pediatric clients, we consider their weight, we consider their age, no? In giving the medication. Even elderlies, napaka-delikado din, no? Sa kanila yung mataas na level ng drug. Kasi mababa na ang kanilang metabolism. Smoking and drugs as well would affect drug metabolism. So take note, may mga drugs tayo that yung mga gamot natin needs to bind. Okay? So nagkakaroon ng, aside from binding, meron din silang mga receptor. Halimbawa, sa area or sa site of action nila, nagkakaroon ng receptor, may tagatanggap sa kanila. Kailangan mag-attach yung agent na yon into that receptor para mag-take effect siya doon sa particular area. So for example, yung patient nagsisigarilyo, okay, may nicotine yan. Yung nicotine, it binds with nicotinic receptor inside the body. So once the drug or the patient takes in a medication, yung nicotine na yon na nakuha ng pasyente sa gamot niya ay sa sigarilyo niya, nagko-compete siya sa gamot, no? Imbis na yung gamot ang mag-bind dun sa nicotinic receptor, yung nicotine ang nag-bind doon sa receptor na yon, ay hindi magte-take effect. Even drugs, no? Kapag drug addict yung pasyente, nauunahan niya yung mga receptors, nauunahan niya yung mga transporters, yung mga yan. So hindi na ngayon nakakarating sa area or sa site of action yung drug kasi nakipag-compete na itong mga substances na ito doon sa mga gamot na dapat magkaroon ng action sa loob ng katawan ng pasyente. And also stress, okay? Drug metabolism is affected kapag may sakit yung pasyente. Okay? So mga physiologic processes niyan affected. Even yung patient na nag-undergo ng surgery, affected din ang kanilang metabolism, affected ang liver, kasi nga nag-take ng gamot, no? Nagkaroon ng mga competition sa loob ng katawan. So imbis na ma-metabolize yung drug, it is being affected by these conditions. Okay? Let's have the last one, elimination. Diaz. Micaela, pakibasa ito.
Drug elimination of excretion. Removal of the drug from the body. Drug is changed into inactive form and excreted by the body.
Okay, thank you. So kapag ang drug ay natanggal na sa loob ng katawan in a form of urine, for example, no? Kailangan maging inactive form muna siya bago siya mailabas. Katulad ng sinabi ko sa inyo kanina, the drug, if it remains active, pharmacologically active, it remains in the bloodstream. So kapag may problema ang patient sa kidneys, katulad kanina, may problema sa liver which undergoes or which is involved in metabolism, may problema sa metabolism. So nagkakaroon pa rin ng accumulation of the drug inside the body. So sa elimination naman, since ang main organ of elimination is the kidneys, kapag may problema sa kidneys ang pasyente, mahihirapan din, magkakaproblema din. No? So kailangan din i-consider ng doktor yung mga ganitong condition ng pasyente. Hindi na pala umiihi. Okay? So we have the different routes of drug elimination. We have the kidneys. This is the main organ of drug elimination. Free or unbound or water-soluble drugs are filtered in the kidneys, excreted easily. So sabi kanina, di ba? Yung protein-bounded or protein binding. Kapag hindi nag-bind yung gamot sa protein, mailalabas lang siya. Maiihi siya. Okay? So, they are easily excreted water-soluble drugs kasi sila ay nagstay doon sa bloodstream ng mas matagal. These water-soluble drugs remain in the bloodstream for a longer period of time compared to lipid-soluble drugs. Kaya sila nailalabas agad. Kaya pag uminom ka ng maraming have you tried this one? Taking, for example, vitamin C na. Kasi feeling mo na-expose ka sa isang pasyente na may sakit. Nag-take ka ng 2 grams, no? Na vitamin C. Kinabukasan, anong kulay ng ihi mo? Madilaw na agad. Kasi na-excrete siya. Or even vitamin B, no? Ganun din. So, they are easily excreted. Okay? Free and unbound drugs, water-soluble drugs, are excreted easily. So, yung mga lipid-soluble drugs, they are absorbed faster, but they are excreted not easily, pero mas matagal. Okay? They stay longer inside the bloodstream or inside the system of your patient. Hindi agad sila na-eliminate. Thus, it will increase the possibility of drug toxicity. Kapag mayroong kidney disease, the dose must be decreased. Okay? Kapag may problema sa pag-ihi ang pasyente, may chronic renal failure yung pasyente, or kidney failure, CKD. Okay? Dinidecrease yung amount o kaya naman iniiwasan na mag-take ng gamot. Kung hindi rin lang naman necessary yung mga gamot na yon, yung mga supplements, hindi na ibinibigay sa pasyente na may kidney disease. Okay? Kasi nga, magkakaproblema lang. So we have other routes of drug elimination, not just the kidneys. We also have the bile. So kapag bile yung ating yung elimination ng drug, sasama lang yan sa ating stomach at saka sa intestine. So sasama sa pupo. Okay? Meron din tayong mga gamot na ang elimination ay sweat. Okay? Kaya minsan naaamoy natin yung gamot sa pasyente natin. This can be, they are eliminated through sweat. Meron din sa saliva. Okay? Meron din sa luha. Sa milk. Okay? So dahil sila ay nai-eliminate sa gatas, bawal sa mga nagpapasuso. Kasi nakukuha ng baby. Meron din tayong gamot na nai-eliminate through stool. Kaya yung pupo, nagkakaroon ng discoloration. Okay? Can you follow? Dito sa ating drug elimination and excretion. Kaya nagkakaroon ng changes. Minsan yung, na-experience nyo ba yung sa saliva, yung kape? Ang coffee is, ang kanyang elimination, some of it are eliminated sa ating saliva. Kaya kahit hapon na, parang nalalasahan pa yung kape sa dila. Okay, that's an example of drug elimination. Or even sa pawis. So, meron din yan. Okay. So, these are examples, no? Yung mga gamot na na-eliminate sa ihi, we have antibiotics, rifampicin, nagiging orange yung ihi ng mga pasyenteng nagtitake ng rifampicin. This is a TB drug. A TB drug. Okay, bile, we have the digoxin, warfarin. So ito naman, dahil sa bile, katulad nga ng sinabi ko, it will be mixed with our food sa stomach and then masasama lang siya sa ating poop. Yung sweat, yung opiates, amphetamines, yan, yung shabu, ang elimination niya, not just the urine, pero pwede din siya sa ihi. Okay? Saliva, we have the caffeine, phenytoin, theophylline. Sa luha naman, yung mga phenobarbital, carbamazepine, milk are being eliminated sa ating paracetamol are being eliminated through the breast milk ng mother. So hindi din maganda, no? At saka yung mga antibiotics. Stool is where streptomycin and neomycin are being eliminated. Okay? So ito yung mga examples ng medications. Okay, so we have the factors affecting the rate of drug elimination. So some of them were mentioned already sa discussion natin, no? So we have urine pH, kidney disease, renal blood flow, concentration of drug in the plasma, and molecular weight. Okay? So for example, yung ating urine pH. Okay, so discuss natin yung urine pH. Urine pH influences drug excretion. So acidic urine promotes elimination of weak-based drugs like amphetamines. So kapag you are taking amphetamines or diazepam, mas mabilis ang elimination ng mga ganito kapag acidic ang urine. So how do we make our urine acidic? Okay, so we may encourage the patient to eat protein-rich food like meat, poultry, fish, etc. Can you follow? Kasi mas napopromote ang elimination ng mga weak base kapag acidic ang urine. Okay? Or acidic urine promotes elimination of weak-based drugs, I should say. Yan. So, paano namin malalaman kung weak-based yung drugs? Nasa drug handbook din po yan. Kaya kailangan meron kayong drug handbook so that you have this information na kailangan ninyo sa patient ninyo. So that you can give correct or right education to your patient because one of the 10 rights of medication administration is right education. Tama dapat yung health teaching mo sa patient. So dahil nagtitake, for example, ng diazepam yung patient, no? Mas maganda pong uminom kayo or kumain po kayo ng protein-rich food para po mas mabilis po na mailabas sa katawan. Okay? So we also have yung tunog na gano'n. Okay, drug clearance when it comes to alkaline urine. Okay, it promotes elimination of weak acid drugs like amoxicillin and aspirin. So para maging alkaline yung urine, kailangan ng citrus fruits, vegetables, legumes, etc. Can you follow? Naintindihan ba? Okay, so that's for urine pH. Kanina si kidney disease, kapag may problema sa kidney, ang pasyente mayroong CKD or chronic kidney disease, ang pasyente, yung rate of elimination mabagal din. Yung renal blood flow, okay? So maganda ang circulation sa kidneys. Maganda ang tissue perfusion, increase ang circulation. Maganda ang elimination. So, hindi nag-accumulate yung drug sa katawan ng pasyente kasi naiihi niya ito. Okay? So, concentration of drug in the plasma. Kapag madami, halimbawa, nagkaroon na ng accumulation, mahihirapan din yung kidney na mag-eliminate or magkaroon ng excretion doon sa amount of drug. So, there is a possibility na magkaroon ulit ng problem. Nag-i-increase na sa blood or sa plasma. Okay? So, pag maraming tinitake na gamot yung pasyente, nagkakaroon ng concentration of drug. Okay? O kaya, nag-overdose. So, mahihirapan yung kidney na i-filter yung mga gamot na yon sa pasyente. The molecular weight of the drug, okay, also affects the elimination. Nahihirapan yung kidneys ng pasyente to excrete the drug kapag masyadong mabigat. So molecular weight, di ba matandaan nyo si chemistry nyo? 'Di ba may mga molecular weight 'yan? So titignan niyo din 'yon para malaman natin kung madaling ma-eliminate. The higher the molecular weight, the the greater ang effort ng kidney to eliminate this drug. Okay? So ito lang yung kanina na-discuss ko na 'to, yung mga weak acid at saka weak base. To summarize. Okay, to summarize our pharmacokinetics. Okay? So A is for the absorption of the drug. So it depends upon the site of administration where the drug is absorbed. So how this talks about how the drug will get inside the body at nagkakaroon ng bioavailability. Kapag nandun na siya sa bloodstream, available na siya. Tapos it will be distributed into the different parts of the body where it is needed. Where will it go? So it depends upon the transporters, or it is being affected by the transporters of the drug. The metabolism of the drug is how it is broken down para maging inactive form. Okay? And the excretion or elimination, how the drug will leave the body. Drug elimination of drug clearance or drug clearance. Okay? So any question about pharmacokinetics? May question ba, guys?
None po.
Wala po.
Wala. Naintindihan naman? Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's have picture taking, attendance. So yung mga class president, are you here?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay, so para ma-facilitate yung checking ng attendance per section, kaya ako pinalagay yung section before their name. I-search nyo lang yung section, tapos pa-screenshot yung mga names of the participants. You do this first before we do the screenshot ng inyong mga videos or pictures later. Okay? Pa-screenshot ng inyong attendance per section doon sa participants. Paki-screenshot yung mga names. I-search nyo lang yung section para lumabas lahat yung ka-section ninyo. Okay? Para mabigay din natin kay Dr. Pasis yung attendance ninyo. Kindly do it now. Bago tayo mag-screenshot ng overall. P5, tapos na bang mag-screenshot ng participants? Hindi pa. A7, are you done? A7, tapos na mag-screenshot?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. A5, are you done?
Di pa po, ma'am.
Pa. A13, tapos na?
Yes po, ma'am. Tapos na po.
Thank you. B9, are you done? B9?
Yes, ma'am.
A15, are you done? So guys, you may start opening your cameras before we have the overall attendance. A15, tapos na ba mag-screenshot ng participants? Sino ang representative ng A15? This is under me. A15. Assign na lang ako, mukhang walang naka-assign. Walang taga A15 dito.
Ma'am, already, taking screenshot na, ma'am.
Okay. Sino ito? Guys, merong mga students, Warren Catalan, walang section. Kapag wala kang attendance today, hindi ka sumunod sa instruction. You did not put your section before your name. A11, tapos na. Mag-screenshot. A11. Who's in charge? Okay. So, sino yung kanina na hindi pa nakapag-screenshot? Okay na ba?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay. Okay na tayo. So, let's have the attendance ng overall. So, medyo madami. 16 screen. Okay. So, I'll be the one to do the screenshot na lang. Smile, everyone. Second screen tayo. Smile. Yung iba, walang camera. Tulog. Next. Third screen. Fourth screen. Okay. Fifth screen. Sixth. Dami. 7. 8. 9. Naku, ang daming walang video. 11 na tayo. 12. 13. 14. 15. Last, 16. Okay. Sira po ang cam. Okay, sige, sira ang camera. So, may question ba, guys? May question pa? Okay, pagka wala ng question, thank you very much for listening. Have a great day. See you again next time. Bye. God bless.
Thank you po.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Thank you po.
Yes, Miss Bar.
Ma'am, isisend niyo po ba yung PPT?
Yes po, yes po.
Thank